thought it was about time that I made an episode not purely just reviewing football shirts. I know I say that a lot, and I'm gonna just blame tiredness. I've been doing a lot of kit reviews, and I think it's time that we do something different. I think now is the moment that I sit down in front of the laptop and talk to you about some of the lifestyle brands in football that I personally love, but I've been a fan of, and I've loved watching them grow to become global sort of representations of what I think all of us football fans have always wanted when we collect football shirts, but more just love football. Now, these aren't specific football brands, they're just either global brands or manufacturers from the past, or just identities that have now become a part of football culture. I know, for example, there's one sort of brand or sort of new creative studio that has only existed for the past couple of months, if not just this year, and they've become global. I think when it comes to featuring magazines like Soccer Bible that I have here on my side, you almost get the attention of the entire world. And I think as football fans here, we almost, how can I say this? We fall in love with something so fast, like a player making his or her debut. We want to watch their career grow. And that's why today I've got a list of about 8 brands, lifestyle sort of football identities that I want to talk to you about. And the first one is a classic, and it's something that was, let's just say, known in the early 90s, if not a bit around that era, where it was a Barcelona-based manufacturer. A lot of people would know Meyba as the Barcelona kit manufacturer. Now, they've come back, and it's all thanks to this one individual called Neil Hurd. We'll hear his name throughout this entire list. He has basically an identity where he wrote the Connoisseur's Guide, or the kit guide that a lot of people have bought from classic football shirts. But I think when it comes to this person, you can see the branding and identity in all of the sort of brands that he's worked with. But Meyba, he's now back in the scene, and they're creating some beautiful retro range football heritage pieces, Meyba lifestyle, the collections here. And I know, for example, Ultra Football here in Melbourne in Australia, in Sydney as well, that is online, we now do stock Meyba, and I have seen the stock in person. I have to say it's one of the best top quality lifestyle pieces that football fans are able to purchase. But Meyba as a brand, I do hope they get a football team in their portfolio in the next couple of years. I think it'll be amazing to see them back on the scene. But for now, they're creating these beautiful lifestyle pieces. So if you are after any of them, check them out, because there's definitely some pieces that should be in your cupboard. Now, like I said, Neil Hurd is definitely a name that you need to know of when it comes to football shirts. Now, we all talk about Drake Ramberg and some of his iconic designs in the 90s for Dortmund and etc. But when it comes to the inspiration in football, that person, Drake Ramberg, does inspire us all. But I think when it comes to Lovers FC, they do play a sort of creative reflection to what the kits sort of represented from the past to now. It's almost falling in love with the design elements more than the actual team. So for example, you may not be a PSG fan, but you do love the Hector design that was so famous for the club from early on to now. And I think when it comes to Lovers FC, it just celebrates football for what it is. It's the aesthetics of football that we love. Their motto is on their website. It's basically, we're here to protect and represent the authentic voice of the terraces and the streets. And I think this is a pretty key element of football when it comes to anything, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. But yeah, if you are someone who loves collecting football shirts, but you also love collecting the design elements of a football shirt, definitely check out Lovers FC. There are some amazing ones. They recently made a collaboration with H&M, and I wouldn't be surprised if we will be seeing these designs or even future designs everywhere else. I think when it comes to a lot of these brands, we're going to see them everywhere. I know FIFA and Volta have been a massive collaboration for a lot of the smaller brands. For example, one of my favorite ones, which is going to be in a part 2 of this series, Park. We do see their design elements live in the sort of gaming world. But Lovers FC, they've got heaps of stock, 3 pages full, and I'm sure they're everywhere. Check out their designs, and that's definitely one for the collection there as well. So now we're off to Seoul, Korea. Now, I recently fell in love with Korea. I think when we got back from Japan pre-pandemic, I had this idea that after Japan we'll go to Korea, and luckily enough, one of my friends from Melbourne City, shout out to Harrison Delbridge, who actually played in Melbourne City, now plays in Korea. He designed the intro for a lot of my episodes that you see. But when he went to Seoul, or even Korea that is, I came across a lot of creatives in the industry over there, and I fell in love with the sort of the culture basis when it comes to football. I came across Nivelcrack, Pepperoni Soul, which you will see in the next two sort of representations of the lifestyle brands I'm talking about today. Nivelcrack is one that a lot of you will know of from FIFA Volta, but you need to check out their stuff. Not only are they bringing back classics from, you know, the J League that we see with their collaboration with Soccer Bible, but they've done collaborations with New Balance and, like I said, on FIFA, and we're going to see a lot more from this brand. I honestly think this is one of the fastest growing brands. They've designed some beautiful elements. They've featured across some football shirts and just football design elements that you need to definitely be a part of and aware of. I'm going to say design elements a lot because when it comes to football shirts, I know we all fall in love with the club, but if you are a fan of stripes or hoops, that's honestly the decision making that you're making, or you choose the club for the color. You know, for me, I love a Man United shirt. When it's red, it's red. That's the identity of the club that we love. But yeah, Nivelcrack, definitely check them out. They've got some amazing lifestyle pieces when it comes to t-shirts, but they've even got some creative football jerseys, and yeah, they've even got some slides I'm seeing here. So definitely check out that. Over to the next team in Seoul, they've done a collaboration with another Australian group that I'm a massive fan of. They recently collaborated with Unwanted FC, but Pepperoni Soul, I came across them when I saw their Inter Milan rendition of that home shirt, a beautiful shirt, but also that Kit Kat thing where they're called a Kit Kit. Again, when it comes to Seoul, the culture basis for football there is unlike any other. I know when we see, you know, Japan or even Korea, we are seeing a huge growth there, and I'm really excited once we're allowed to travel, because that's one city that I really want to be a part of. The creatives there, shout out to all of them, because some of the imagery they're creating, some of the, you know, the lifestyle pieces they're producing, I'm really excited to potentially one day be a part of that, and yeah, definitely see it for my own, you know, own self. But Pepperoni Soul, not only are they making renditions of past football jerseys, they definitely have made some beautiful pieces and pretty good prices, and definitely check out the Unwanted collaboration they have. Now the next one, Soho Warriors. I came across this group when I sort of did my research after falling in love with Soccer Bible for the first time. They've established themselves since 2010. They are basically a bunch of creatives all over London and Europe, and they've made this culture sort of within their group. It's a five-a-side sort of thing where they create you know, football jerseys here and there for major tournaments that they put on, but it's more than just the football designs that they're doing. It's also the projects that they've got. They've got Christie New York City, Stone Island, and even End Clothing that have collaborated with Soho Warriors. And I think when it comes to these smaller things, you do see how a broader picture they have, and some of their events bring, you know, hundreds, if not thousands to their events. And I'm really, you know, hoping that one day when we're allowed to travel back to the UK, I do get to check this out. I have bought one of their renditions of the Drake Ramberg design that I have here, similar to the Arsenal shirt from the early 90s, the Thunderbolt. But yeah, on their shop, they've got some beautiful pieces. Again, it's just representing football in a new and fresh way. And I have to say, Soho Warriors are definitely one of the top-notch brands. Now, I'm gonna have to read this out, but founded by Hirofumi Kiyonaga in 1999, it was this brand called FC Bristol. Now, when I came across this brand only recently with the FCB, I wasn't sure what this brand was about, and it was thanks to my good friend Chris, who showed me this brand, and now I've fallen head over heels for this brand. Honestly, they mix the culture of football and lifestyle, but some of their design elements in their clothing is more than the everyday pieces that we've spoken about so far. They've recently actually collaborated with the, you know, the baseball training gear and even the American football. So we're seeing some amazing things coming from this brand. They're pushing away from football and creating more, you know, universal pieces. But if you do have the opportunity to check out FC Bristol, you will see what I'm talking about. A lot of their lifestyle pieces, I would compare it to sort of Palace skateboards, where it's a brand that not many people would be wearing, but definitely a nice tight group of creatives, but pretty out there creative people that want to buy it. Now I'm looking at their website, there's heaps of stock. I know they sell fast, and I'm really excited because they've got some smaller pieces that I've always wanted, but their branding, everything about the FCRB design element is above the rest. I think when it comes to, you know, the design elements of this brand, it's to be more than football, but still tie itself back to football. So definitely check out FC Bristol. Now, I know this episode is going to be a bit of a fast one. Of course, I'm just sitting here talking to the camera, but hopefully some of the images on here have inspired you to either start your own brand or, you know, get creative with a few friends and yeah, basically make the next version of these brands that I'm talking about today. And the last one is a magazine or sort of a sports website that I have read a few times before I came across their Instagram. Now, NSS Sports are a well-known sort of Italian English readership sort of European football magazine. Now, they do have their fashion and NBA and all that sort of things on their website, but when it comes to NSS as a football brand, now they made this beautiful Metro Stars, so the New York Metro Stars from the MLS throwback 90s shirt, which is sold exclusively to StockX. Now, of course, if you don't know what StockX is, it's the higher brands sold on this website. It's sort of like a marketplace for exclusive brands. You can buy this item in a pizza box. Now, that is amazing. I love everything about this. I think it's one of the most unique releases last season. And I really hope that we do see a lot of bigger brands, manufacturers follow suit with a lot of these smaller creative people. But yeah, NSS Sports, definitely check them out on Instagram. They do have some beautiful, you know, information and stats on some of the, you know, things that happen in Europe. I think they were the first ones that reported about Inter Milan and even Venezia having issues with their legalities of branding. But NSS Sports, definitely check them out. Check out their Metro Star shirts, the home and away. Definitely, I would love to buy one, but that's another brand, and that's the last one from this list. I'm in love with all of them, and I hope that you definitely check them out. I think when it comes to football brand identity, it's really hard to come across, and a lot of football clubs do miss the mark on their, you know, collaborations. And I think when I talk about the Nivelcrack ones, I actually just remember now, check out what they made with Red Star Paris in France. Some beautiful pieces. So yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy that. Stay safe, stay away from stupid people, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you and goodbye.